So the Rose coach in Unrivaled finally decided to play Lexie Hull. Lexie Hull actually saw the floor. And what happened when Lexie Hull played more than like 4 minutes? Oh, the Rose win. First of all, they win.
Imagine this, you're Lexie Hull. You've only seen 8 minutes of playtime across 2 games. Your team is struggling, still without a win. As you watch from the sidelines, Angel steals the show, racking up double-doubles. But then, the moment comes. Your chance to step in. You take it, and with a scorching 19-point performance, you dominate, leading your team to their first victory.
And Lexie Hull goes 8 for 11 from the field and has 19 points, 3 assists, and 3 boards. 19, 3, and 3. She was the top scorer.
This isn't just a comeback. It's a story of grit, strategy, and the kind of vindication that fuels future greatness. Lexie Hull proved, without a doubt, what happens when raw talent outshines empty stat padding. Her breakout performance may just hold the secret to unlocking the Rose Basketball Club's full potential. So, how did she show Angel Reese that there's more to the game than just numbers? Buckle up, because we're diving in. Ready? Let's go.
Hull's really stepping up because she barely played those first 2 games. And I do think with her barely playing those first 2 games, I don't think she did anything wrong. Like I even said at the time where I'm like, it's literally just the style of play their coach is trying to play that didn't suit Lexie Hull.
Remember when Lexie Hull was practically invisible on the court for the Rose Basketball Club? Yeah, that really happened. Let's take a step back to those first 2 games where Hull spent most of her time on the bench. She played a grand total of 8 minutes. 8. Across 2 entire games. What's even more mind-boggling? While Hull was stuck warming the bench, her team was stacking up losses like they were going out of style. The Rose Basketball Club kicked off the season with 0 wins and 2 losses, and all Hull could do was watch. Talk about frustrating.
Christy Sides coaching, where she doesn't really want to play you, and no matter what you do on the court, it doesn't matter because your coach doesn't want to play you, and then eventually your coach figures it out and starts you and plays you 30 minutes a game and your team gets...
Here's the kicker. Lexie Hull isn't some unknown player trying to find her place. She's a proven 3-point shooter with elite defensive skills. Just look at her stats from the previous WNBA season. Her 3-point shooting percentage was up there with the best in the league. Hull has the talent to make an impact, yet for some reason, she was stuck riding the pine. It just didn't add up.
Lexie Hull hardly played, and it was all within like the flow of whatever offense you run in Unrivaled. And also, she's obviously a really freaking good defender.
So what gives? Why was a player of Hull's caliber getting almost no playing time? Something just wasn't adding up, and fans were starting to take notice. They were scratching their heads, wondering why Hull's defensive skills weren't being put to use when the team clearly needed a spark. Here's where things get interesting. While Hull was stuck on the bench, her teammates were struggling to find any consistency. Multiple players were putting up double digits, but it still wasn't enough to translate into wins. The offense was clunky, and the defense had more holes than Swiss cheese. It was clear something needed to change. Swiss cheese.
As we've seen from Alyssa Thomas, like the points that are like the point guards that are doing really well, or the point forward type things that are doing well in this aren't really pick and roll players. It's the ones that are sharing the rock and hitting cutters, hitting like 3-point players. Like it's not about the pick and roll is not. It's not as important in 3-on-3, especially when you can push the floor and you can run. And athleticism is the most important.
And here's the reality. Even with her limited playing time, Hull was making waves. Fans and commentators couldn't help but notice her lockdown defense during those few precious minutes she was on the floor. It was like watching a highlight reel in fast forward. Blink, and you'd miss her impact. The frustration was building. Teammates were grumbling. Fans were firing off tweets in frustration, and everyone seemed to agree on one thing. Hull deserved more time on the court. As always, she stayed professional and focused on being a team player, but it was clear that her talents were being underutilized.
I think she's going to have a solid Unrivaled, and thankfully, she's stepping up. And I didn't think she did anything wrong in her first 2 games when she was on the floor. The coach just didn't fit her. She didn't fit the coach's system. Thankfully, the Rose switched it up a bit. They won.
So, How did Lexie Hull go from bench warmer to game changer in just one night? That's the million-dollar question. Was it a sudden shift in strategy? Did the coach finally realize her potential, or did Hull somehow strike a deal with the basketball gods? We'll get into all of that in just a bit, but first, let's take a step back. Why was she benched in the first place? What led to her being sidelined despite her obvious skill set? That's where the story starts to get really interesting.
She's back to mid-season form. She really is. She's absolutely delivering on that double-double. That's right. Points, rebounds, and of course, losses. Just in the same way that the Chicago Sky melted last year when her double-double streak started, she cost her team a game.
Remember when we were all scratching our heads wondering why Lexie Hull was warming the bench? Well, it turns out she might just be the secret weapon the Rose Basketball Club needed all along. Let's break down why Hull's game is practically tailor-made for the 3-on-3 format, and why she could be the key to taking the team to the next level. First things first, 3-on-3 basketball is a whole different beast compared to the traditional 5-on-5 game. With fewer players on the court, there's a ton more space to work with. But this isn't just about having room to breathe. It's about creating opportunities. The pace is faster, the action is more intense, and every player has to be a threat on both ends of the court. That's where Hull's versatility shines. She can lock down on defense, hit crucial threes, and move quickly, exactly what a 3-on-3 setup demands.
They're saying, oh, she should have never went to Unrivaled. I still think, look, she's getting paid, 100 and something K, at least. Could be paid up to $250,000. Her, she's everywhere. It's going to help her out. She drew the short straw with her team. The way the coach wants them to play is just not the way Lexie Hull is good.
Now let's talk about Lexie Hull, because we all know she's a sharpshooter, right? In 3-on-3 basketball, that's like bringing a flamethrower to a water balloon fight. With all the extra space on the court, players who can consistently knock down threes and cut to the basket become total nightmares for the defense. And Hull? She's not just good, she's been among the best in the WNBA when it comes to draining shots from beyond the arc. But here's the thing, Hull's game isn't just about offense. In 3-on-3, your defensive skills are under a microscope.
Not only that, she's been good. The problem isn't that Lexie Hull has been garbage. Lexie Hull has played well. That's the weirdest thing, is that she's actually played well. There is one issue with Lexie Hull, which is why I think she's not playing, but I think she has actually played well. And their team lost again. But for Lexie Hull, at least now they're stopping running the constant pick and rolls. That was the worst part about it, is everything had to be a pick and roll. So the only players really scoring were Azare and Angel got some shots in, and that was really it. And at least this game was good today. This game really was good today. So a brick from Chelsea Gray, an offensive rebounder and Vandersloot. It's all from hustle plays. It's all from cutting, spotting up. A cut, Chelsea Gray hits her. It's the off-ball movement that was really nice. Lexie Hull posting up Courtney Vandersloot. I stand by this. I thought at the start Courtney Vandersloot was going to be the worst player in Unrivaled. She's not, but she's very Vandersloot. She shoots it off the dribble. Bang. And then again, she goes and cuts on Vandersloot. Courtney Vandersloot. Dear Lord. Then she's being guarded by Alia Edwards with the post fade. Lexie Hull was doing a little bit of everything, but a lot of it was just her off-ball movement. A good screen by Brittany Sykes and a nice left-handed finish.